Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. As you can see, I'm starting the same way I start all of my mornings by going on Discord. I will have a lesson on how to improve your options trading. So if you're an options trader, stick with me at least for the first 3 minutes. Take a pen, get ready to take some notes. But how do I start each of my days? I want to determine the possibility of the market direction. So I want to see, is the market bullish today? If it's bullish, what calls am I to look at? Today, I already mentioned that I'm going to look at a certain number of stocks on my watch list and talk about either bullish flow or bearish flow, explain what entry points and exit strategies I have for each of those positions, and we'll go from there. So the first thing I do is I start off on Discord and I look at the top bullish flows and top bearish flows. Top bearish flows, SPY and SPX, generally used for hedges. So I kind of discount that. So I'll look and I'll go, okay, well, those stupid people are betting against NVIDIA again. Everybody that bets against NVIDIA, the shorts on NVIDIA are down, I think, $8.6 billion this year so far, not to mention the shorts on Tesla. So look at the most bullish calls: Tesla, Snow, GM, Avgo, which is Broadcom, another chip company, Microsoft, which is at all-time highs, AMD, which we saw bottom, Micron Technology, which you had a bunch of members. Xander, Love mentioned that. AI, again, I mentioned when AI is done consolidating, that it'll probably head its way back up to $40 or $45. Remember, it went down to $31. I said we might likely get a bounce to $35 or $36. That's where we are today. So next thing I do is I look at the SPY net flow, the net premiums for the SPY. I'm looking at puts and I'm like, okay, well, they still haven't given up on their puts. The calls have significantly dropped yesterday. That's telling me, whoa, alarm bells, warning, warning, warning. So I definitely want to look at the net premiums for the SPY, and I want to see if there's either a spike in puts up above this level, or if the call levels rebound. If they rebound, then I can say, okay, the market has a potential to get stronger. So then I'll look at the net flow for the entire market. Well, this is no freaking surprise. What do we know? Every dip gets bought up in this market so far. So again, net premiums for the entire market. Call premiums through the roof. Price action is in white, and then the put premiums are on the rise. So generally, they've been on the rise for a while, even though we've seen the market go higher. Again, we saw some chop. We saw 432. This is the 5-day here because I like to go out 5 days to really get the most feel for my on what the market's going to do. All right. So with that said, let's just get into lessons right away. Okay. I'm here to help improve your trading efficiency. So I don't care. People say, dude, you need $100,000 to trade options. No, you don't. You can trade options with $100. In fact, if you go in our public chat, Love posted some positions when somebody was questioning, what can I do with $20? She posted a Johnson & Johnson position in at $8, out at like $11 or $12. Yes, it's only $3 or $4. But if you look at the percent return, you're talking about 45 or 55%. Okay, so the biggest lessons for today when trading options, I'm going to give you about 5 or 6 of them. Okay. Number one, buy more time. So if you're into 0 days till expiration options, buy the extra 2 or 3 days. Say you were going to buy SPY calls or puts that expire today. Wait. Go out until Monday. Why? It's a little safer. Matt, they cost me more money. Yes, instead of getting a return of 400%, if you're correct, your return will only be 90% or 100%. But here's the catch. Let's say you're incorrect about your play today and you expire today. You're down 90%. Yes, Matt, I use a stop loss. I would only lose 20%. Okay, but not everybody uses a stop loss. So buy yourself the extra few days. If you're going and buying weekly options, I'll give you an example. Last week, I was in some SoFi options, right? What happened? They downgraded SoFi to $5. The stock dropped to $5.58. Where is SoFi this morning? It's like $9. $9 and change. Maybe it's $6.58 it dropped to. The point is, if I gave myself an extra week, those SoFi options are now positive. Now, I sold my SoFi options yesterday, so I got a new good bounce. Next, sizing. Try purchasing. First off, there are 2 things when related to sizing. Number one, use the same size for all of your trades. You're trading today, buy 5 contracts, great. When you're trading 5 contracts tomorrow, great. 5 contracts the next day. Don't oversize your position, meaning you did 5 contracts on UPS, you sold for profit. You did 5 contracts on Meta, you sold for profit. Then you're feeling good about yourself and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy these Amazon options. And instead of 5 contracts, I'm going in for 25 contracts. Holy shit, you're wrong about Amazon. You just blew up your account. Okay, so keep your sizing the same. Now, here's what I like to do as far as sizing goes. I like to trade a lot of contracts. Here's what I do. I buy in for 1 contract at a time. I'm buying a Google options. I pay $1.56. Great. I bought one contract. It goes down to $1.50. I bought a second contract, $1.43. I add two more contracts, third, fourth, $1.34. Now I add 4 or 5 or 6 more contracts. Now it spikes back up to $1.68. Whoa. My average is $1.42 after I purchased all my 1 or 2 contracts at a time. So that's your second lesson. Try purchasing 1 or 2 or 3 contracts at a time, especially if you're the type of individual that'll end up with 60 or 80 or 50 contracts. If you're the kind of individual that only has 5 contracts, you buy one. You're down 10 or 20%, you buy a second. That's as long as you want to hold your position. A lot of people use stop losses. Number 3, I already showed you the top flow today when I showed you on Discord. Look for liquidity, meaning you want to find the top flow for bullish and bearish options, which means it has the most traded contracts. I'm going to talk about the most traded contracts so you guys have an idea, but you can look at Tesla, AMD, NVIDIA. Hey, Matt, I can't afford NVIDIA contracts. Sure you can. Go out 2 weeks. Look at the $500 calls. In fact, I will do that with you right now just to prove a quick point. You telling me you can't afford a contract because that's what a lot of people say. Hey, man, I'm trading a small account. So let me just find where the heck is. All right, we'll look at Netflix. Give you a Netflix, and we'll go out. Let's go out a couple of weeks. We'll go to July 21st, 22 days. What would I do? Well, Netflix is $430. I would go out and find a contract I can afford. What could that be? It might be the $570 contract, something like that. No, the spreads are too wide, so you can't really do that. That won't really work for Netflix. Let's go a week sooner. Let's just see if it works for July 14th, and we'll go way over the price of Netflix. We'll go to $495 calls, and they're at $69. The bid and the spread is $6 apart. So, again, you want to plan on your entry. Maybe you underbid yourself. Do I think Netflix is going to $495? No. But if Netflix goes up from $440 to $452 today, and you're in these contracts that you're in for cheap for $66, they'll be probably 100% gain. So no, we're not getting close to the $495 target, but that's how you can trade a smaller account. Again, I used the Johnson & Johnson example earlier for 8 cents to 11 cents. You could look at SPX contracts. You could do whatever you want. I mean, there are cheap enough contracts to find for a small account. Okay, let's get back to the next rule that I was talking about. So looking for liquidity. Next, generally, if you start a trade red, okay, now this is for everybody. I start a shitload of my trades red. I'll look and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm down 18%. Thought I was getting great entry. I'm getting better about it. So now it's only like 10 or 11%. When I'm down 10 or 11%, I start loading up because I know that's generally what I miss by these days. But let's say you're a trader and you use Robinhood or Webull and you're looking at bid and ask and you're like, okay, I'll pay the ask because you want to get into the trade. Never pay the ask, okay? Always put in for the bid or underbid yourself, meaning you're going to bid $1.20 for these Square contracts that you wanted to buy or these Meta contracts you want to buy, but you're normally off by 11 to 20% to start a trade. You buy it for $1, all of a sudden it's 79 cents. Happened the other day when I bought Disney calls. I paid $93. I paid the ask. It dropped substantially after I paid $93 to $75. Well, I missed by $18. $18 is about 19%. So, for example, I'm going to buy Disney at $93 a contract. I say, hey, no, I watched Matt this morning. He told me to look for a discount. I'm going to discount it $13, okay? So instead of putting my bid for $93, I'm going to put in my bid for $81, okay? If I get the contract, congratulations, Matt. You just saved $11 per contract. How many did I buy? 7. Okay, 7 times 11, $77. Again, you could tweak your strategies. But the point is, if you're generally red to start off a trade, man, you've got to underbid. Let's say you're playing SPY calls or SPX calls, and we know how volatile it is. All of a sudden, the SPY will drop 40 cents, then it'll bounce up 40 cents. The point is, if you're going to pay $56 a contract and you miss by 20% on average, you look at your phone and you're down 20%, you go, okay, $56, I'll take off $10, I will bid $46 per contract. If I get it, great. As soon as I get it, my phone's going to beep at me. My computer's going to beep at me. Whatever. It's going to let me know that I got the contract. And if I got the contract at $46 rather than $55, great. What's my exit going to be? My exit can be something like $72. So instead of making 26%, I'm going to make something like 48%. 26 versus 48 makes a huge difference, especially when you're trading a small account, but any size account. I don't care if you're trading $100 or $100,000. If we're talking about 24 or 25% versus 45%, that extra 20% makes a hell of a lot of difference. Next, okay? People say use a stop loss. I didn't put that in my rules. But next, don't FOMO. What the hell does that mean? I've heard FOMO, fear of missing out. Don't FOMO means, all right? Not that you have a fear of missing out. Like I need to get into some meta calls as soon as the market opens because I know the meta is going to rip. You need to have a complete strategy. So market opens. Oh, I could see meta coming down to 270 whatever dollars. That would be my point of entry. If it comes to 277, my options instead of $1.50 on open are going to be 78 cents or $80 on open. So having a complete strategy, I know my entry. When I purchase that, I'm looking for Meta to go back up $4. If Meta goes back up $4, my options that I paid $88 will be worth $1.92. All right. So have your entry, know your exit, have your complete strategy. That's what it means not to FOMO. FOMO is something like this. Man, Matt's been talking about Carnival Cruise Lines for 3 weeks. It's up another 1.5% this morning. It went from $13.80. It's at $17 now. I'm going to buy some Carnival calls. I'm going to buy them for end of July or August. I'm going to buy the $20 calls because if Carnival goes up another $4 or $5, it's going to be at $22 or $23, man. It's an easy score. Yes, there's a strategy, but you're not coming up with entry or exit. You're just coming off with, hey, it's a momentum play. I want to get in Carnival. What's going to happen? Carnival spikes off open. You go in. It dips. What do? You're starting out red, 28, 33%, whatever it is. Nobody needs to start out red. So please, 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 let's do that. Okay, next, I'm going to talk about the SPY today. My ranges of the SPY. I don't have my crystal ball here, but I'm going to tell you what I'm seeing. So let me go just see where the SPY is sitting. Pre-market. Okay, pre-market on the SPY. We're sitting at 437.59. Why don't you guys look at it with me? So let me just remove Discord really quickly and add the SPY. And I'll tell you what we saw at close yesterday, which makes me continue to be bullish. Let's remember a couple of days ago, what did I tell everybody? I said we're heading to 442 on the SPY, 442 before we potentially draw back. So if you like what I do, please hit that like button. All right, let's get into the SPY and what's potentially going to happen today. Okay, I'll pull it up. Yes, this is as large as it goes. Now we're looking at the 5-minute chart. We can look at the 3-minute chart. Whatever chart you're going to look at, what are we going to see? This huge green candle end of the day. Remember, we're at 435, like 22. We finished at 436, up a whole 0.25%, literally in the last 3 or 4 minutes of trading. So does it surprise me that we're spiking up to yesterday's high? Yesterday's high was 437, like 60 something. We're sitting at 437.50 pre-market. So here's your scenarios of how things are going to play out today. I'm going to give you your bull case scenario first. Your bull case scenario is we have a nice pullback to right around this level, 435.52. I actually think 435.60, okay? 435.60. If we pull back to 435.60, we're going to springboard north, and we're going to hit 439.60 today, closer to 440. Again, that's your bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is you see a drawback, a pullback, a buy the dip moment. We're going to drop $2 on the SPY at 437.50. Right now, we're going to 435.60, and from there, we're going to springboard to 440. That's your bull case scenario. We see 440 today. Your bear case scenario is the market is ripping pre-market. We're up. We closed at 436 and change. We're at 437.50 right now. What's going to happen out of the gate? We're going up another point and a half. So we are going to go over yesterday's high. And then the market, which rejected just under 438 yesterday, is going to do the same today. So whatever we head to, again, bear case scenario, we spike up to 439. We spike up to 438.50, and then we drop, and we're still going to see the 435.50 level, okay? So again, bull case is we're dropping to 435.60 and then up to 440. Bear case is we're going up first to 439.60, and then we're dropping a full 3 points to 436.60. We're going up to 438.50, and then we're dropping a full 3 points to 435.50. So again, I'm not telling you where the top is. I'm saying once you see the top, if we get bought up on market open and it's a bear case scenario, we reject the top, we are going down 3 points. It's not going to be one of those fade higher days. Or we drop it market open, we find support at 435.50, and we springboard off that. With that said, banks basically passed their stress test yesterday. I'm going to talk about a few of my stocks on my watch list, but first some news. Banks, 23 of the largest banks passed their Fed annual stress test. Capital plans are expected out Friday. So, you want to look at Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Goldman. Pal, the majority of the Fed sees 2 more rate hikes by year end. This is the process of getting inflation down to 2%. This still has a long way to go. That's what he said when he was speaking at 2:30 a.m. at the Bank of Spain event in Madrid. Now, I mentioned volatility and the number of options. You know what? We'll skip that. We'll skip the information about Trump. We'll just get right into it. We'll get into my watch list. Those of you that are interested, great. Maybe take some notes. Carvana is first on my watch list. Why? Because I mentioned, and if you follow me on Webull, I think 17,000 of you do. So hopefully some of you found your way over here. I mentioned Carvana. What today is Thursday. So I mentioned it on Monday. I did not get into Carvana on Monday. It shot up like 10%. I did catch it on Tuesday, and I did catch it on Wednesday. So what is top of my list? Carvana. Where's it at this morning? Up 4%. Carnival. I've been talking about this one for like what? A week and a half, 2 weeks straight. Where do we see Carnival? First of all, you see inflow. It had earnings. It had a sell-off, a little dip there. But again, Carnival a month ago was $11. It's at $17.29. I mentioned the double upgrade around June 12th. June 12th, it was still $13 and change. When it came back a couple of days ago, if we're looking, it came all the way back to $13.92 a couple of days ago. And again, we're at $17.29. So what do I see on Carnival? Again, you'd be chasing buying here, but you want to look and see if Carnival has demand. Again, it can probably move, 5, 6, 7%, especially on a green day. If there's a pullback, again, I'd be looking for that one to pull back. I've got the SPY, the Qs, Marathon Digital. Why? Because one of my latest plays has been Marathon Digital, $12 strikes. $12 strikes, I got in at $52. I got out, I secured 40% profit. It skyrocketed 200% that day. Anytime Marathon Digital pulls back, Coin pulls back, although I don't like Coin, I like Marathon Digital. First, I would like Riot second, and then I might do Coin third. So when I'm looking at Bitcoin type crypto plays, again, any type of pullback, I told you guys, I happen to think Bitcoin's going to 33 or 34,000. I still think these stocks have another 10, 15, 18% to run. So you take Marathon Digital, let's say 15%, you're talking about $2 more. You're going from $13 up to $15. What else am I looking at? Again, I had Lucid on my group. Lucid, I had the $6 calls. Why? Because of the Saudis. I mentioned this one 2.5 days ago. Again, they were selling off Lucid. And I mentioned the Saudis have not unlimited money, but they have enough money where they can keep supporting a stock. The Saudis own 15% of this company. And you have to understand that's one portion of the Saudi pension, of the Saudi fund. You have other people in the United Emirates that are probably adding to their personal positions, just like you and I are retail traders. So, there's interaction between the Saudis and they're saying, hey, we're going to support this stock. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking it's a $12 stock probably by the end of the year. So we're talking about this still has a bunch way more to run. Uber Technologies, Uber at 45 kind of tapped out for me. I don't want to be in Uber, but again, you can see strong demand. I've been talking about Uber for a week. Under Uber, I've got DraftKings. Again, DraftKings has that range of $26. If we look at it this morning, we're already over $26.10. So anytime DraftKings dip down to $25.40, I would be a buyer of the $25 calls that expire this week because the DraftKings support has been there. If somebody asked me on Webull, hey, man, do I think DraftKings is going to $30? I really don't know. I do know that when DraftKings takes a dip, it quickly gets bought up. So anytime DraftKings or even Mara lately have been taking a dip, I re-enter those positions. I tried to do that with Starbucks. Didn't work out. Starbucks dipped, everything rebounded, Starbucks stayed down. I tried to do that with Disney yesterday. Disney dipped. I bought some more of Disney. I got out with 10 and 17% profit. I just got lucky on that one. I actually think Disney, I'm probably early on Disney. I think if the markets continue to run up and we see 442 on the SPY, that Disney will run up to $93, $94. Again, I'm kind of early, so I would think that would be happening in the next 2 weeks. I'll be on the lookout for that. I don't have any new position there. Boeing, remember I had the $205 calls. Boeing's at $211. I think Boeing can run back to $221. I've mentioned that a number of times. So that's on my watch list. Again, I have Starbucks. I have AI. We mentioned AI, light volume. Dipped the other day all the way down to $3. And now it's making its run. It's at 35. It's at 36.50 pre-market. Again, the run on AI could be right back to that $45 number. So again, There's room there, I believe. I've got SoFi. Remember SoFi, the analyst came out with a downgrade on SoFi to $5. I mentioned this pre-market. It went down to 658 the other day. 658. We're at where? $9.20 this morning. Here's your 5-day chart. Here's where the analyst gave a downgrade last Friday. Remember, SoFi dipped. So SoFi has been ripping. Now, what could happen? The Supreme Court could come out and cancel student loan debt. That would really screw over SoFi. So I'm staying clear of that one right now. Again, we saw Upstart run to the $42. From $42, it came back to $29. It's at $35. Rather than playing Upstart, I'd rather play the Russell 2000, which is the IWM. Again, strong tech plays. Anytime AMD or NVIDIA has been dipping, and I mentioned this one 3 straight days, but I mentioned NVIDIA. Why? Because NVIDIA has a 16-point run. So say NVIDIA comes back like it did yesterday, and what was the low on NVIDIA yesterday? Let's just take a look at it. NVDA. Yesterday, 405, high 418. So it's inflow yesterday. This is the month chart. We can look at the 5-day chart. Again, 405. What do you see? Anytime it buys the dip, it's higher end of day. Buy the dip in the morning, higher end of day. So NVIDIA is a strong, play that you literally can just watch. What would I add to my watch list? Let's say you can't afford NVIDIA. First thing I would do is go out 2 weeks. So I'm going to go out to like July 14th. Then I want to say, okay, NVIDIA $500 calls. Why? Because they're so far out of the money that hopefully I can get them cheap. So when NVIDIA goes from 410 or whatever the low on the day is, let's just say it goes down to 406 and we get in at 406, 408, and it ends the day at 424. When you're in at 408 and you pay $26 for a contract at 408 and it ends the day at 424, up 18 points from where you entered, your contract's going to be somewhere close to $68. Now, granted, it's going to be still way out of the money. You're talking about the $500 calls that expire in 2 weeks, but you're talking about a return of probably over 100%. So please, look at that. I got Netflix. I mentioned Netflix pre-market yesterday. It was at what, 423, and I said what's likely to happen is probably going to open at 424 and shoot straight up to $430, and that's exactly what we saw yesterday. So when you're seeing Netflix come down at all, in fact, the low yesterday was 422, and the high yesterday was 437. So again, I obviously was wrong. They actually bought up Netflix a little stronger. It closed at 429. But what does that tell me? It tells me as long as big tech is strong, you're going to see Microsoft, you're going to see Netflix, you can see the NVIDIA buy the dip mentality, the AMD buy the dip mentality, the DraftKings buy the dip mentality. Smaller cap stocks and Uber, Elucid, although I like those stocks, at some point I want to be more careful. I want to make sure there's continued demand. So let's just see some questions. MTTR, an AI play. I don't look at Matterpoint. Again, here's what catches me. Okay, look at the volume. Okay, so when you see the outflow days, you can see the volume is pretty substantial. The inflow days, or at least 5 out of the last 7 days, has been really light volume on that company. It's also a $3 stock with a core valuation of market cap under 100, under 1 billion. So I would rather look at Micron. I would rather look at AMD. And see, again, you can't tell me you can't afford those stocks. You can. You just need to go out 2 weeks and go out of the money. You find when you see the bottom, again, you can't just buy it open. So you're looking for consolidation. You're looking for that morning dip. When you see that morning dip and then you see the turnaround on the 1 minute, the 3 minute, you can say to yourself, okay, I was looking at AMD. It dipped down to 108. It finally found support at 108.50. I'm going to buy in. You don't buy in until 109. That's still okay because your game plan on AMD was I'm going to see 112 or 114 today. So again, have a complete strategy there. What else we got? Good morning, fam. Continued step and repeat. Apple calls. Yeah, you've been talking about Apple calls for a long time there. So that's great. Okay. With that said, heading over to Discord today for all members. I did mention that I have 3 doctor's appointments today. Health is very important to me. So I will have limited action on Discord. If I do see an A++ entry, I'm going to shout it from the treetops. So please follow us over. We can pester Romeo and Love to see if they can do some live trading for us today. And listen, I appreciate everybody watching me. Thumbs up, make a comment. If I missed your comment, please ask it again after we sign off. I'll answer it so you can see a response. And please join me tomorrow morning for Lotto Fridays. I will explain Lotto Fridays again. It doesn't mean that you have to jump in at market open. Some of the best Lotto Friday plays don't happen until 2 p.m. or maybe 11 a.m. You're looking for a $5 play that could perhaps go up to, $80. You're talking about a 14, 15x return. So that's what we're looking for Lotto plays tomorrow. Please make comments. Join me tomorrow morning.